roots and wood stand the test of time, then, in turn, the earth will awaken and allow you to see and be there within that circle of life, that one from so long ago. Then you will not forego that lifelong path. Take, and you will fear. Listen, and you will hear the power within its wonder.
Look, listen, learn and love. Bare feet on country always. When you stamp your feet and dance, make sure to give energy as you connect with and draw energy from Mother Earth. Respect the connections between all things and never take more than you need. Do it sustainably so cycles can continue. Sit in nature daily and be still. Look, listen, learn and love.
As we know, climate change disproportionately impacts communities experiencing vulnerabilities and often exacerbating existing inequalities. We are seeing that the communities that we work with are increasingly impacted by climate change, including climate-induced displacement. Globally, women are more likely to be impacted by the climate crisis. Current events such as conflict, COVID-19, intensifying climate emergencies are resulting in increased inequalities and risks for women. 80% of people displaced by the climate crisis are predicted to be women by the UN. And in 2018 alone, more than half of the 41 million people internally displaced were women. Commission on the Status of Women, CSW 66, which Juliana mentioned at the start, this month specifically looks at achieving gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls in the context of climate change. We see this as a great opportunity to elevate our own voice as an organisation, engaging with diverse communities on a daily basis, from refugee resettlement to integration and to community engagement efforts. We recognise that we have a collective responsibility as an organisation to alleviate the burdens of climate change on the most vulnerable communities internationally.
If we are to understand this, we have to take an intersectional lens to it. And when we talk about gender equality, it is automatically assumed that it's about women only. It is not. It's about women, men, boys, girls, and the gender diverse populations that are often overlooked in these cases. And what matters is not only the gender identity, but their ethnicity, their geographical location, their class, their socioeconomic status. All of this played such an important role in how they were able to cope with the disasters. We can't just say that we're going to act on gender equality and not climate change. It goes side by side and it needs a all hands on deck approach. Those that have been historically marginalized continue to be marginalized within decision-making spaces. It continues to be a top-down driven approach, and the response towards addressing gender equality in climate change is to take an intersectional approach that looks at holistically, not only addressing climate change, but transforming societies into gender just and low carbon economies so that these are sustainable practices, not just band-aid solutions, I think.
Unless we take an intersectional approach to climate change, we will not be able to achieve gender equality.
You'll hear me call Torres Strait Resonant. That's the traditional name. 40 years ago, it wasn't as hot and dry as it is now. We didn't have all this rough, fierce seas and winds. It even affecting our fruits that are fruiting later. Limited rain, longer dry seasons. This all started when we heard about global warming. Zenat Kes is our home to traditional owners who have lived with a deep connection to land, sea, sky and culture for over 60,000 years. Right now, Torres Strait Islanders are on the front line of climate crisis, and urgent action is needed to ensure that we can remain on our homelands. Advancing seas are already threatening homes, as well as damaging fresh water supplies, crops, burial grounds, and sacred cultural sites. Our islands, our home, is a campaign led by Torres Strait Islanders to protect their island homes. Our islands are sinking. Climate change threatens the way of life. Relocating our families down south will be detrimental to the saltwater families. We'll be unable to practice our traditional culture and lifestyle. We'll be disconnecting families. Our islands are sinking and under threat by rising sea levels. All we ask, please help sign our petition, Our Islands, Our Home website, and you will see also a Facebook page. We need to hold our government accountable for rapidly reducing emissions and resourcing our adaptation plan.
Not knowing that the sea level rise is actually going to take over your homes. The hospital in Kiribati would always be underwater, so mothers would be giving birth, and there would be, seawater in the hospital, the main hospital in Tarawa.
I think if you are working for an organisation that is new to this space, and we were very new to this space, only last year are we starting to take action on climate change, it's really to be encouraged, network, find other champions in the community who are really keen to work on climate change, find your colleagues that are wanting to be champions for this work.
But first and foremost is our leaders. We need to hold them accountable. We need to make sure that they're called to action, especially on the outer islands.
And we actually need everyone to do something about it, because everyone can make a difference. We actually need everyone working together on this. And from small steps, we'll go a long way, So from little things, big things grow, right? It's about a conversation. It's not telling people what to do. It's about talking and finding a way. Just take 1 minute and think about one thing that you can do today to do your bit. One first step.
An image of a place that is part of Australia, and yet we don't think about it on a daily basis, and opening our eyes to what is happening there, because what happens there on the island, we are not different from that. It's going to affect us, all of us. What impacts you is going to impact us. So thank you for bringing this to the front for us to think about.